And our backs are straight and we're live.
We are.
Welcome back.
You have to sit up. Today's challenge is to sit up the entire time.
I want one of those devices to keep my shoulders straight. Or, you know, I get back in the day when they were
painful. Yeah.
back in the day when the exposures were so long that
They put a brace back there.
Back in the
for 30
day,
minutes.
they used to stack books on your head, so you had to sit up straight. Whoa. Feature. So, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to today's live stream. Today we're going to be going over Sony's newest
G Master lens,
There it
especially.
is.
That beauty.
Yes, this guy is meant for all you nature and sports enthusiasts that, of course, are shooting with Sony's very favorite mirrorless lineup. That's a beautiful lens, isn't it?
It's an extremely beautiful design.
So
And-
before we get into, oh, sorry.
No?
No.
Yeah?
You.
No, you tell it. No,
No,
you tell it.
you. Go.
No, I mean it's just I just like looking at it too.
It
Not
is
only using,
pretty.
you know, not
We're
even
gonna
being
share
able to
everything,
use
right?
it, but
Prices, range,
price, right?
where to find it, where not to find
In the
it.
Digital Go to showroom.
Yep.
In
you
the
can find it there.
showroom with Izzy and Adam. But before we get into that, I always try to, you know, make sure that we say a few things before we start in case we have anyone new today.
My name is Adam. Thank
Hi.
you for joining us.
I'm still Izzy, and thank you for joining us for our latest YouTube live stream.
And I'm Vero, or Veronica, and I want to make sure we say hi to everyone because we already have a lot of people saying hi from Hawaii, from Italy, from Italia, Naples.
boy.
We have, I'm sure, people from our team in
Napoli.
Bolivia. Woohoo! And just to make sure, please ask questions. We do have a small giveaway going on, just as always, secret. Nothing to be, nothing big. It's not going to be the lens, but we have a few people.
lens.
We had a few people ask last week what was the best way to take care of, or how to store your lenses. So we wanted to give away one of the Ultra Photo lens pouches. It comes in a small, medium, large, extra large size. So whichever one you need, you may get. For a chance to win, you have to stay till the end of this live stream because we're going to be announcing the winner. And to enter, you do have to go to last week's live stream and post a comment below in that video telling us where you're writing from. We'll give you till the end so you don't have to exit from us. And you make sure you know to find out if you won or not. So I'm going to be checking when we get to the end. I'm going to go back to that video and we'll choose someone randomly.
And Veronica's going to check to make sure that the back
our
is,
backs are
Yeah.
straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have a ruler.
We really should. I'm gonna bring a ruler for me to
Anyways,
show us next time.
So,
And ask your questions, please.
I guess before we go into it, do we want to talk about the event coming up?
yes.
Because that's coming up.
Yep.
That's going to be
Yes.
next week,
Next
right?
week already.
That's next week, and we do have a flyer to share with you guys. The main reason why we wanted to give away the lens pouch, it's because we're celebrating lenses, and lenses are always a good thing to celebrate, talk about, explain.
Right.
And in last week's live stream, if you weren't there and you're going to go check it out now, we explained, or Izzy and Adam, if I may say so, explain lenses, and we were promoting an event that we have coming up, very fun, interactive event, October 11th.
Yes.
That's
And
next
I'm going to
Wednesday.
show you all the information. And this is going to be a local event. So if you are in the Miami area, you're more than welcome to drop by. Izzy, what's the address? How do you get
It's
here?
in sunny downtown Miami. No, not really.
Not
downtown Doral. It's 3330 Northwest 72nd Avenue, Old Milam Dairy Road, as it's always been called.
And it's going to start at what time?
We're going to go from 1 to 7:30 p.m. or until we
Wow.
drop.
And we have two different things going on. From 1 to 5, there is a seminar.
Yep.
And the seminar is sort of a meet and greet with one of the Tamron's Tech members.
Exactly.
You can ask any questions, 101. I think this is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you get to meet the team. And the showroom, we have so much here that you can play with,
Oh.
test it.
This is a giant playground for photographers and videographers.
Hopefully it's not raining that day.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
been
well,
getting a lot of rain here.
Yep.
But that day is going to be sunny. And then I have the flyer here. So from 5 to 7:30, there is, is it from 6?
From 6 to 7:30, you get travel, landscape, and nature photography.
specifically travel.
And the most important thing, it's a free seminar.
Yep, absolutely. And there's going to be giveaways. You're actually going to be getting a T-shirt, and who knows what other goodies.
And you get to
might
take Izzy.
You can take a
I don't know if you can take
selfie with my man
I don't know if I was
Izzy.
taking Izzy, but you can
You
take
can't
some
you
selfies.
can't take him, but you can definitely take a selfie, get his autograph.
And get to
Where is
visit
the
in the
lens?
showroom.
They're asking, where is the lens? Okay, sorry guys. So we're done. We'll probably talk about this again towards the end. Make sure to enter for a giveaway, small giveaway at the end. But let's go ahead and show this beauty up and close.
So this is the FE. It's been out for a little while, but it's the first long telephoto lens,
For the
pro
mirror.
lens for the full frame E mount. They have a 78-300. But let's get a more detailed look at the lens, and Izzy, you can show some of the features, and we'll talk about what we see over here. Also, keep an eye out, because we have a video coming out on this lens as well.
Yes, there should be.
It's
a video
already
on it.
out. It's
Oh, it's
already
already
out.
out. Okay.
It's
There
a
you
video
go.
that went up right before this one. It is a unboxing, first look.
So you get a live preview of the lens itself, and
It just feels
as we said
incredible.
before, just before getting into any image quality, the lens alone, design-wise, it's one of the best looking 100 to 400s.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. Notice how you have, of course, the capability of changing your focus parameters. You can actually turn your image stabilization, or optical SteadyShot, as Sony calls it. You can turn that on and off. And you have different modes of optical or optical SteadyShot, again, as they call it. It just feels great in the hand. This is such a smooth zoom. It's fantastic. I mean, and the full-time manual focus override. I mean, it's just little things like, guess what? If you work with polarizers or neutral density filters, they made it really simple if it's variable. Instead of having to take the lens hood off, you have this little peekaboo window where you can actually turn and shift the polarization or the neutral density at whim, and then close it right back up again. Something as simple as that. That's very well thought out. I mean, yes, of course, other manufacturers done it, but now it's become the norm, and thank you, Sony, for giving us that capability too. And what do you think of the construction, Adam?
Construction, it's fully weather sealed. If you zoom in and out, you'll feel the air
Yes, it actually.
coming through, but it releases dust and doesn't bring in dust. They've done such a great job. It's a pricey lens, but definitely well worth the money that you're going to spend on this lens.
You got to remember that it's an investment for the future, because this isn't a lens that you have to keep buying over and over. You got to invest in your glass, and the G Master lineup from Sony is world renowned.
If you match it with this camera that I'm going to hand to Izzy,
Wow, yeah.
you got an insane combo.
This combination right here.
Izzy, if you put it
oh
underneath,
boy, that's
you can
phenomenal.
see that's the Sony A9. That's now Sony's.
Where would you take that combo?
Oh boy,
So
anywhere, even to dinner.
Sporting offense, bird. Like if you're a nature photographer, you're photographing birds. One of the fastest cameras that are out there. I believe you can do 20 frames per second. The autofocus is extremely fast. There's minimal blackout in the viewfinder, so you're always seeing the action through an electronic viewfinder, which is a new feature for a mirrorless camera, flip out screen. But just a comment. This is like one of the perfect combinations.
Yes, if you're a sports or nature photographer, wow, this is something to strive for.
Not only that, but if you can't afford something like the A9, you have the A6500, right? So this is a crop sensor camera. The only thing is it's going to look a little awkward on the back of the camera, and what we could do is we can actually install it so you can see.
Yeah, can we see it on both? It's a beautiful lens. Is it heavy? It's
Not really.
not really.
Not considering the.
What would you say the weight? I don't remember exactly the weight. We can
think
get
it's
the exact specifications, but there you go. If you look at it, we'll give you a little closer look so you can see. But that's a crop sensor body.
Remember, you're getting
and
that
a
extra
100,
magnification.
400. tripod collar, so if you can attach to a monopod or a tripod, it definitely helps out.
This is a 3.8 pounds, sorry, 3.8
So
pound
3.8
lens.
pounds just on the lens itself. What's really nice is the fact that you have focus lock buttons all around the lens. So whether or not you're in the landscape or the portrait mode, you're able to lock the focus without having to, set up a custom button on the camera. It's already there for you. So yeah, they did a great job. Izzy, if you want to install like a full frame camera on there,
the big gun on
you
here.
can get an idea of what it looks like.
Can you give us a close-up of how to, because we do have a few questions
Sure.
of how to install. I think maybe it's my question.
Sure. So
You're going
on
to
any
line
of
up.
any of the cameras, you have a marking on the lens as well as a marking on the camera body. And you just line them up and move it in a little bit more into frame.
There we go. And then,
And then
you
you-
just twist, and the important thing is you never let go until you hear that click. If you let go before that click, some horrible things could happen. So you don't want to do that.
You don't want to drop this lens.
No, but look at that. Now it's perfectly
And I
balanced.
like
It's-
this little stand.
Right. So, as I
a
said,
tripod.
you have a you would attach the tripod just because it's going to be, you have about almost 4 pounds on the front. So you attach the tripod, but when you're going to get into your bag, or if you're going to put this into like a
sling.
a case, you can remove
Just slides right on.
remove the collar. So we'll switch over to the overhead so you can get a closer look.
I feel like this lens is so pretty that,
That you don't want
don't
to
know
take
if
it out
pretty
and
is the
just keep
right
it on
word,
your.
but-
Well,
Yeah.
it's not a Leica, so you wouldn't just keep it on the shelf as a toy.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you'd actually use. No, I'm bashing Leica.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I
They-
was
they
about
do-
to say what?
a lot of people buy Leica cameras just to have on their shelf.
That looks so nice.
But
So what are all these little wheels and settings and, because I as a
Sure.
beginner in lenses, not expert level, I would have the question of when I look at this lens, what is that for? Like all these
right,
little
so
numbers.
you have a bunch of stuff on this lens. You have a dedicated focus ring. You have a zoom ring, to change the focal length of the lens. You have your autofocus and manual focus switch. You have your focus limiter. So this is good for if your subject matter is not going to be within 3 meters. You just switch it over there, and that way anything that might cross your path that's closer to the lens is not going to affect the focus. It won't have to go through the entire focus range. And then it has Optical SteadyShot, which works in conjunction with your camera's
5-axis.
in-body
so, yeah.
5-axis stabilization.
Wow.
So if you have the 6500 or the A7 cameras, you'll be able to get really good stabilization. And the SteadyShot has 2 different modes, a normal and one for active or panning. As we said, the tripod collar and your focus locking buttons, which I believe can be programmed for
for such
different
even
different features.
Yeah, like eye focus and stuff like that. So again, it's a fully featured lens. So a lot of people are like, well, why are they so expensive? There's a lot of research and development that go into something like this, like the G Master line, and Sony's world renowned for their quality optics. So they are listening to us. We are stating that a lot of us sports and nature photographers want big glass, and they're starting to do so. I mean, there's capabilities of even going to 800 millimeter because this works great with their 1.4 and their 2x teleconverters that are on the market. So yay, Sony. Thank you for listening, and I'm sure there's more coming down the pike. There's already some rumor about some wider angle perspective
Right.
lenses, more economical wider angle perspective lenses for the full frame mount.
So some of the, I'm going to show some images from Sony that, just showcases what, this lens is good for. And they have some great images.
While Adam pulls those up, we do have a couple of questions here that maybe Izzy can take over.
Absolutely.
So Tin is asking, yeah, I've heard Sony was very good in every aspect, photo, video, but Canon has beautiful colors. Just wondering about the full frame options A7 lineup. Sorry, I think I was reading his comment to someone.
Right.
like,
So
wait a
I
minute.
think
Your
I think
face was like,
I think you know.
he's stuck in between Canon or switching
Right.
over to Sony. What do you guys think about it? He does street photography.
Well, I mean, the Sony has some incredible pancake lenses. They're 28 millimeter, they're 55 millimeters. They're fantastic, small, compact lenses that you can throw onto an A7 series camera. And you basically don't even know you're walking around with a camera with that lens. And it gives you great perspective for street photography. And again, the added capability of a lot of people are not going to look at you when you're working with some of these smaller mirrorless cameras. They don't stand out. Now, when you walk around with your favorite, like your 1DX Mark II or your 5D Mark IV, those cameras take notice. I mean, people will stop and they might not look the same when you try to photograph them
Right.
in a natural environment when you pull out some big, huge piece of equipment. So,
And I think what was mentioned was like, you know, color, which is something a lot of people, you know, that online I see a lot of people saying, oh, Canon's color science is better, Sony's color science isn't as good, skin tones don't look as good. But I don't know. I've seen, you know, there are so many images out there, and you know the way each camera is going to process color and differently than the other. So Nikon cameras will process a little bit different than Canon, Sony, Fuji. All have a distinctive look, but you know Sony's color science I think is really nice. Skin tones I think are very good. And with the power of like shooting RAW and Photoshop,
And Lightroom,
you're
you
able.
can do-
There are a lot of already presets that you can,
Yep.
you can use to enhance the photo to make skin tones look even better, or to however you prefer.
and you can tweak
So-
your camera. Nowadays, you have so many custom settings on the camera that if you like this particular Kelvin setting, you can just pre-program it into your camera and have it set to your liking. That's the beauty of digital. I mean, it's not like in my era where you walk around with film that was daylight
Right.
balance and you threw a bunch of filters
Peop-
at it to be able to work
People
with
would choose. There were people that were hardcore Fuji film shooters and some hardcore Kodak shooters. And people would strictly only shoot Kodak film, and some people would strictly shoot Fuji film, or some people would go with Astia,
Yeah, the Agfa stuff.
or the Agfa, which
Yeah,
is the
that was incredible stuff.
German film. And there's some other stuff, and film's making a comeback, but those had their own particular look, and people chose it for those reasons. So on that, you can't really speak for, everybody has their particular preference. And it would be a matter of just getting familiar with the camera and how it reacts, and doing your adjustments on the computer. But the Sony cameras are and Sony lenses are just they're stealing the show right now as far as technology, image quality.
And-
You
and-
want to go ahead and show some? Sorry,
Sure.
Izzy.
No, and like you mentioned, the street photographers are making big waves when they're, and not literally, because of the fact that these are much lighter and smaller weight cameras. You can take it with you
Right.
everywhere. They don't stand out.
And they can be silent.
Yeah. Oh, very, yeah.
Certain ones you can go into like a street mode, like completely silent. So these are some of the photos that obviously like sports, but you can get really up close and personal, with the subject matter, and you don't have to be right on top. But for nature photographers, this is
pictures from the
these are
website.
yeah these are pictures from Sony's website. Hopefully we're able to get out and spend a day with the lens to take some photos, but just so you can get an idea of how of what you can do with this lens. And I think let's go. So these obviously you have pro shooters taking some phenomenal images, but 100 to 400 again is has been a popular focal length for sports and wildlife.
For many manufacturers, that's a very go-to millimeter setting for a lot of manufacturers, whether they're Canon, Sigma, Even Tamron is going to be coming out also with a new 100-400. So it's a very versatile telephoto zoom that you can use in a lot of different situations.
What's the price point for this lens? What would be the range? If you go on Digital Gojas.
So yeah, so on our website, unfortunately, we sell the Sony right now in store only.
You would have to come and talk to
You have
Izzy.
to come to the showroom.
Who would want to do that?
Yeah.
So let's see. Can I use my Canon glass with the
$4.99.
Sony camera?
Yes, there's plenty of adapters. That's one of the reasons that mirrorless has become so popular, because they have a lot of, I don't know the word pliability, but a lot of leeway to work with legacy glass and other manufacturers' glass.
Yeah,
with
the
adapters.
sensor mount is probably one of the most versatile. The flange distance,
Incredible.
is short, so it allows you to use a variety of adapters. A lot of people. I just had a customer that was Canon shooter, but is very much interested in looking into the Sony cameras, just because they can use their legacy lenses, like Canon or Nikon, Nikon lenses. He likes to do an effect called like lens whacking, which is like holding up a lens to the camera, and you get sort of this dreamy effect when recording.
Yeah.
Like especially for video, a lot of people that are doing film, add that effect. It's a really neat effect to do. But.
Awesome. So I was trying to find the price range.
Oh, it's
2,500.
Yeah.
2,500. It may change, so I would keep an eye out on our website, which all that information is always down below in the description box once the video gets posted, because right now it's just us. But yeah, we don't have that many questions today. I guess everyone seems to know everything about the Sony. We do have a couple. The thing is, our friend Tin,
Yes.
he always helps us to answer questions, so it's hard. It's like I'm racing with him and trying to find questions that haven't been answered. But what is the difference between the SteadyShot modes?
So on this particular one, as I said, you have one which is a standard mode.
Let's switch to that.
So if you're going to be hand holding the camera and just you're going to be static while photographing and not going to be moving the camera. So if it's on mode 1, again, standard, so if you're in this, position of taking a photo, but if you're going to pan with the subject matter, what you would do is you'd switch it over to mode 2, which is for panning. And that's pretty much it for this particular lens. Certain lenses have 3 different modes. So 1 and 2 would be the same. 1 would be standard. 2 would be for panning, and on lenses that have the 3rd mode, it prioritizes the stabilization for taking the photo. So if you're using like a DSLR, you won't see the effect in the viewfinder, but it will take effect once you release the shutter. But this particular lens has 2 different modes, and again, standard and for panning.
And you got to remember that it's a combination of the optical SteadyShot in the lens and the 5-axis stabilization that Sony puts on their body. So that gives you that added benefit of more compensation as far as your shutter speed.
Right.
So
whatever the lens can't do, it compensates with in-body stabilization,
which is
and for
phenomenal.
both photo and for video.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. And just so you can get a reference for size wise,
look at what you whipped out.
Oh my God.
I have a 70-200 f4, so you can. We're going to place that here. Let's see if we can get that.
Version before,
This is a 70-200, so it's a little bit shorter focal length. And
maybe
it's
the
a fixed
overhead
f4.
shot would be a better.
Yeah, we'll switch over to the overhead so you
There you
can
go.
see. Get that in the frame.
And show them the crop sensor camera so they can also have a perspective
A
of.
bit tight, but you get the idea of as far as size. And we'll crop out some of the camera, but
You know, we did have Tin ask a question. He was asking about the adapters. Do you think adapters are good enough so that autofocus is fast enough for his street photography?
Well, it depends. There's many different adapters out on the market. Some of the more popular ones that we've seen are, for example, Sigma has the MC11 adapter. It does a fantastic job. I mean, we've been carrying that adapter even before we started bringing in Sony into the showroom. And we've had customers come in and be in a fluster because remember, we're right near the airport. So they'll rush in here and be like, please help me. I have this lens, and they'll have some particular Canon lens, and they'll have an A7 or an A6300, and they want to get those to work together. So they came to us, and we would have this, and we'll be like, well, we have the MC11 adapter, let's give it a try. And honestly, about 85–90% of the time, even though it was a Canon lens, it worked properly on there. It didn't give them all the capabilities, but a lot of them did work. Now, of course, if you throw a Sigma Art Series EF lens on there, everything, even if you're working with eye tracking, all those capabilities will function with your particular Sony camera. So, and there's Metabones, that's another name that comes to mind. They have a lot of different adapters out there depending on what you want the adapter to do for you. The price point changes.
Right. So, like, what I would say is the Sigma adapter works best for the Sigma Canon mount lenses, but it will also work with the Canon EF mount lenses as well. It's just the autofocus works much better and faster with the Sigma lenses.
Yep.
You know?
So we are reaching the end of our live stream, and I don't know what I mean. We have some exciting things coming up October 11th, so I want to make sure we mention again, just in case you weren't here when we first started this live stream, we have a Tamron event October 11th from 1 p.m.
Oh, here, let's whip this
to
up.
7:30. This is Izzy's little cheat sheet. But there on your screen, this will be going on October 11th here in the showroom from 1 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. There are two things happening from 1 to 5. I never remember exactly the time. It's
well, we'll get the display up here, but
yes.
From 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. it's going to be on travel and landscape and nature photography. 1 to 5, it's going to be the meet and greet. So the photographers will go over. And
yes, 101 questions. It's a Tamron Tech member will come out here to the showroom, so you get to have all that good food for thought knowledge, and you get to meet Adam, Izzy, the whole team, and
it'll be a good old time.
It'll be a good old time, yeah.
And you get to look at everything that's here in the showroom, which is always amazing for those of us who are photography enthusiasts and film. And maybe we'll be doing something special even for YouTube that day for sure. We want to make sure we document and we share with everyone that is not going to be able to make it here on time. But since we've reached the end of the live stream, we do have a winner.
Yay!
And the winner is someone that commented on last week's live stream. We're going to be giving away an ultra photo lens pouch, depending on what size they need. The winner is Eddie Lorena. I'm sure Eddie's not on this live stream, but we'll make sure
Congratulations, Eddie.
Get the word out to him. And thank you guys so much for being here today. And
we'll catch you in the next one.
Hopefully you'll come to our
October 11th.
October 11th.
We'll see you here.
Keep on clicking
Hopefully.
tour. Happy shooting.
Happy shooting, guys.